What's up, guys? My name is Mad Squash 924. Welcome back to another episode of Night Call, Part 12. In the last episode, we have completed the scenario The Judge. Found our victim, not our victim, but our suspect, and the issue got dealt with. If you guys haven't seen that, I suggest you watch it. It was very, very enjoyable, very interesting. Today, we begin The Angel of Death. With random victims, unknown motives, weird cases, slightly more difficult than The Judge. Of course, we shall make it balanced, the way it was designed to be. And I'm curious how this differs from The Judge's story. I imagine it's very different. I would think the customers that we've met before also have different stories, perhaps. But we shall see. Hope you guys all enjoy. Make sure you guys turn off those lights, close the blinds, turn up your headsets or your earbuds, and just enjoy the story of Night Call, The Angel of Death. It starts very similarly to the previous one. So I imagine we're gonna wake up in the hospital just like as before then. Cool. Here? Sir, can you hear me? Or do I need to speak up? You're fine. She takes a deep breath. Sir, you just spent 2 weeks in a coma. The word bounces around your head. You need a moment to understand its meaning. Coma? The word scratches along your throat. Yes, you were the victim of an assault? The word resonates in your head. Victim. You are aware a serial killer is currently on the loose in Paris. You feel the contents of your stomach crawling up your throat. The killer the media are calling the Angel of Death stuck a knife in your right side. It hit several organs. To be frank, you were in a terrible state when they brought you in, and we were obliged to put you in an induced... Her voice becomes more distant. Aids. You taste bile at the back of your mouth. Your head is burning. You hear a whistle in one ear. Your fingers move to your wound. Underneath the bandages you can feel hard skin. It is incredibly painful. Did they... I'm sorry? Did they catch the angel? No. What about my passenger? He was dead before you even got out of your cab. The doctor was silent for a second. A very awkward second. She hesitates. The police would like to see you as soon as possible to ask you some questions. Technically, you're the only person to have survived the Angel of Death. Noise in the hallway attracts your attention. You try to turn your head, to no avail. You need to rest. She leaves the room. Her voice resonates in the hallway. I don't care, he's the only witness, he's... Another female voice joins in, a strong authoritarian voice. You can't clearly make out what she's saying. A strange feeling washes over you. It's not pain, not fatigue, some odd combination of the two. Before being in this hospital room, you never realized that anger was made up of a combination of pain and exhaustion. Anger. A feeling you know all too well. Days go by, and a month later. as Night 1 begins for our second playthrough. Well, look, I've got a bit of a problem. A real problem, that is. You have a pounding headache. It's your first night behind the wheel since the attack. Are you listening to me? You catch your boss's eye in the rearview mirror. Sorry. I just want things to get back to normal, to clear my head, to stop thinking about it all. He's watching you closely, trying to make out what's going on in your head. You know I'm worried about you, don't you? Yeah, I know. You're like a son to me, you know? I know. And you know he's all about to tell you the story of his taxi fleet again for the second time. When my father died and left me the store, I could have sold it. Could have retired, gone back to the old country. But you preferred starting your own company and hiring the local guys. Your boss smiles. He knows he told you the story a million times. And that's why I got 45 guys like you working for me. His hand flutters in the air. Though none of them are any match for you. He smiles. His voice suddenly takes on a serious note. You want me to go over everything again? He points to the GPS, the equipment on the dashboard, the meter. You haven't been in a taxi for weeks. Maybe you do need a little refresher. No, I'm fine, don't bother. Your boss seems a little embarrassed. It'll just take a minute, it'll make me feel better. There's no need, really. He holds up both hands. It's no use. Okay then. Fine. I know I can trust you, but I think everyone would be a lot happier if you took it easy for a while. He gives you a searching look, then lets out a peculiar soft sigh. It ends on a high note. Anyway, I'll let you get back to work. Every minute spent in your taxi is a minute lost. He gives you a smile, half ironic, half serious. You can count on me. He scratches at an invisible stain on the armrest. Yeah, I know, that's the problem. He smiles. The boss opens the door and exits the cab. You watch him cross the street and enter the fleet garage. A couple of colleagues are milling about. Taxis are coming and going. They all ignore you, consciously or unconsciously. You are branded. You sit there a moment and then turn the key in the ignition. The hum of the engine sends a tingle down your spine. It's impossible to describe how you've missed that feeling. It's back to the night shift. Back to life. Despite the attack. Despite it all. We are back. Back and in it to win it. Now we can go and talk to people that we haven't seen, or we can talk to some people we have seen. This one is clearly sending us to this one. We know who this is. This is Hervé from the Judge playthrough that we did. Unless he's a little different, but we don't know. Somewhere, one of the buildings around you, a dog is barking up a storm. It's Hervé. Who knows if he'll pay us? The door opens. It's Hervé, a homeless man like hundreds of others in Paris. You've known each other for years, and every now and again he asks you for a favor to drive him someplace. As usual, he greets you quietly, though he always seems a little on edge. Hey buddy, what's up, pup? It's a strange verbal tick that you've never really understood. You start the cab. Pretty cold tonight, right? His voice has a peculiar lit to it, as if certain syllables were sung to stop him from stuttering. Hey, aren't you cold with your ass stuck to the car seat of yours? Yeah, we freeze our asses off. That's what I thought. You can't fool me. I know a cold guy when I see one. I got a place to stay in Passy. Anyway, you can give me a lift? Sure, of course. Great, mate. That way we stay nice and warm. In the 15 years I've been on the street, it's never been this cold, I swear. You know, some guys aren't going to make it. Shit. That's how it goes for us, yes? A pause. A smell is gradually permeating the inside of the cab. It doesn't bring back fond memories, but it doesn't bother you either. You leave the door open later on to air out the cab. But you know I'm used to it even before, sure. I don't think I ever told you. When I was a kid, I was never old. Never. A weird, uneasy break. One time my mother dragged me to the Pyrenees during vacation. Didn't know what the hell to do with me, like drink, you see. And the first night we were there, I broke the bottle of gin she brought along. Should have seen her through a fit. Shit. She gave me a thrashing, but I gave as good as I got. That's how we used to talk back then. She ended up dragging me by my pants and locking me out of the balcony. Icicles were hanging from the eaves. It had snowed the day before, sure. I sat there for an hour, arms crossed, with like a cardigan on my back, and underpants on my ass. I didn't budge. She was storming around the apartment, my old lady was, yelling at me, but I didn't hear nothing. And well, the cold didn't get me, see, felt nothing at all. Nah. Wish I could say the same today. When was that? Well, I was, 8, 9, maybe, see? If I could do that, man, no, can't do it. Too old, cold, it gnaws away at me, see? And thanks again, man, for giving me a hand. And no problem. Serious, man, you know how it feels for real. And you help out. The cab pulls up to the shelter in Passy. Fuck. Last time I was here, there was a protest out front. A bunch of guys from the neighborhood who didn't want us to squat the place. They were yelling their heads off, sounded like a bunch of damn sailors. Yeah, sailors. So I guess those rich dudes have balls. He accessed the cab. Thanks, man. I know I can count on you. Good luck. He rubs his hands together and walks towards the shelter. Of course. Waste of time he was, as always. Always is, always will be. Do we have any other suspect-esque things? We don't. Good. Let's pick up somebody new, like this kitty. Also, if I go do this... Okay, so yeah, it does look like a lot of these probably will remain the same. So ideally, we'll try to find some new people when the time arises. Rookie. You pull up to the sidewalk and wait for your passenger. Since it looks like a no-show, you get out of your cab after a minute or two to smoke a cigarette. There's not much going on in this small town in the suburbs. There's a few apartments that still have lights on. A sweet scent hangs in the air. Eventually, you stub out your cigarette and get back into the car. You jump, startled. A cat has managed to slip into the cab. It's sitting on the back seat, staring at you intently. You sit there for a moment, considering whether or not to shoot it away. But just as you are about to wave your hand, the cat shifts positions and slips of paper falls from its collar. You pick up the piece of paper and unfold it. A fragment of a map of Paris. The Saint Lazare train station. You turn your eyes slowly to the cat. He seems to be expecting an answer. Are you going somewhere? The cat tilts his head to the side, as if to say yes. You want to go to Saint Lazare? The cat tilts its head again. Are you a dog? The cat slowly nods its head no. Your hands clutch the wheel tightly. What the hell is going on? You turn around to face the cat. Okay, fine. I'll take you. You let out a sigh. Okay, fine. You start talking to yourself in low tones as if to balance the conversation. Normal. This is all perfectly normal. You start the cab, but cast a glance at the cat behind you. You're the one who ordered the cab? You start to laugh. A few minutes go by, you try to break the ice. Simple questions are probably best. Everything okay? Neither a yes or a no, more of a plaintive meow. Are you running away from someone? The cat lets out a long, plaintive meow. Another cat. Your owner? Again, a long, melancholic meow. You nod your head. What happened? Was it a man? No answer. A woman. Was she mean to you? The cat seems to be uncertain. She was not around for you? The cat doesn't seem to understand. For instance, your owner is never home. You're bored. You want to spend more time playing. If cats could roll their eyes, he would have. Is she overly affectionate? The cat lets out a string of insistent meows. Touché. That's it. She is too affectionate? And that's why you're running away. The cat is watching you with a steady eye. You are sure that you are on the right track. Well, you have to be careful with people like that. They suffocate you before you even know it. You nod your head. But you ran away. I mean, lots of people like you. You stop short. But you are just a cat. You roll your eyes behind you. The cat lets out a quiet, reassuring meow. I mean, what I mean is, well, we don't even know. We don't even know we are in a cage. Okay? And we prefer not to think about it. We are never fully aware of it. You look at the cat. I must be crazy, I'm talking to it. You shake your head. You point to a light in the distance. That's Saint Lazare. We'll be there soon. A few yards later, you stop at the drop-off area in front of the station. The first train doesn't leave for another hour. Where are you going? The cat stares at you without making a noise. Let me guess. Saint Lazare. If you were going to the suburbs of Paris, you wouldn't have needed to come into town. So somewhere in the northwest of France. Normandy? Somewhere by the sea? The cat is looking at you and meows. A sharp sound, probably a yes. A very hungry yes. For the fish, I guess. You check the time on the dashboard. It's time to go. To get a real customer. You try not to think too much about the situation you're in, and you hope that no one sees you're talking to a cat. I'll just start saying the names of cities, and you meow when I hit the right one. You start to list cities in Normandy. The cat doesn't move a muscle. Cherbourg. The cat looks up. Oh, so it's Cherbourg. Getting close St. Malo? Still nothing. I got it. Deauville. A meow of delight. You're smiling too, all of a sudden, and you're exhausted. Okay, come on. Time to say goodbye. You get out of your cab and open the back door. A bill has appeared on the seat next to the cat. It is enough for the fare, and more. Oh, you are full of surprises, aren't you? I won't ask you where it came from. You smile and lean over to pet the cat. It leaps out of the car and darts between your legs. You can just make out its shape dashing up a flight of stairs and slipping between the bars of a gate. You get back in the car. This is an achievement. I can't read. Give it a second. You look at yourself in the rearview mirror. Your features are heavy with fatigue. Your right eyelid is twitching. As you start the car, you remember you are allergic to cats, but you haven't sneezed once. You pull out of the station. I mean, yeah, you did give us enough for the fare. The door suddenly opens and a woman gets into the back seat. Having a good night? For a second, you freeze. You recognize one of the cops working on the Angel of Death's case. She grins at you. Her voice creaks. You remember seeing her at the hospital. Something already bothered you about her there. You know, it's actually pretty crazy. For weeks, I have been saying to myself, there's something off about you. Something not so nice. I took around, mulled it over, bugged all my fellow cops about it because I was sure you lied to us. She has a cold sneer on her face. I'm going to be frank with you. She leans over to you. I don't see how you could be the Angel of Death. All that staging just doesn't seem like your thing. Too meticulous for a taxi driver. She squints, like she's trying to make you out from far away. Like you've gone to the extent of hurting yourself? Yeah, between us, it's a bit of a stretch. She stares at you. But not enough of a stretch for my chief to stop going on and on about you. Seriously, he talks about you all the time. If I didn't know better, I think he had a crush on you. She smirks. No, I think he's more interested in your profile. In prison at 17. An icy chill fills your gut. And for murder, too. You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. Since you got out, you've kept a low profile, but you're lying about your name and your address. I checked. It's normal, you say, if they got word of your time served. No loan for your permit, no lease for your car. Meaning no second chance at life. Her voice becomes softer, almost warm. I personally like guys who want a second chance. No, I like guys who fight for a second chance. Basically, I like guys who are willing to work for me. She leans forward, her shining cat-like eyes narrowing. My chief wants to go to the prosecutor with a first and last name with evidence. Actually, knowing him, he's not so hot on evidence. So I'll give you info, victims, suspects, medical reports, some photos that are a bit... She makes a gagging noise. You have to be discreet. Keep it between you and me. Interrogate, ask questions, dig around. I'm not asking you to make an arrest and deliver the killer wrapped up with a bow in front of the station, okay? You're no Batman, you're just here to get me more information. She rummages around in her pockets for what seems like forever. Here, take my card. I'll call you in 3-4 days just to check in, and we'll chat. I'll let you know if I have any new info. She takes on a didactic, paternalistic tone, like she was giving you a list of recommendations for the 100th time. Don't get caught. Don't get arrested. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying to leave Paris. I know what you look like, and I know who your friends are. You could be either the solution or the problem, my friend. She takes a minute to scan your face, your emotions. If I have to, I'll go and check on you-know-who. Her smile is biting. That reminds me, do you know you've done time? You shake your head. She snickers. Oh, my little dirtbag, you cover your tracks well. She acknowledges your silence with a nod. Okay, I think I got a handle on our little deal. Any problems? I turn you in. I'll send your picture to all my friends in the media and every asshole in Paris. Your picture with your name on it, your real name. Anyone close to you will have their places searched. They'll be put under house arrest, spend nights in jail. You have any idea how tense things are when that fucker's trial's underway? You sigh. You know just what she's trying to get at. Come to think of it, your last names are almost the same. You could be brothers, actually. She takes on a serious tone, businesslike. I want to catch this killer personally. I want to drag him to court, ruin his fucking life, with a bang. I can't botch this case. You got me, and neither can you, right? He ripped open your gut, you saw your own insides, you were in a coma, yeah, you have plenty of reasons to want to get back at him. She furrows her brow. Yeah, I think you're actually going to do what I tell you to do. You investigate, ask questions, listen to all the rumors, and you come up with a list of suspects. She lays her hand on the door handle and freezes. All right, and don't get fired. Without this cab, you're worth nothing to me. You glare at her. For what it's worth, it was a pleasure not to be interrupted every other minute. You can't imagine how much I miss that work. She puts her hand up and you can hear the words behind it. This conversation never happened. I'll make sure you get more intel tomorrow. I'll find a way. Until then, not a word to anyone, obviously. Not a word. The door opens, squeaks and slams shut. Fucking bitch. You sit alone for a while, teeth clenched, dry-eyed, ears buzzing. Shit. On the back seat, the cop left a pile of papers. Shit. Keying the ignition. Motor running. Radio on, crackles. You turn it off and start driving. So as we know, we have 5 clues this time. Plus it seems to be also the same, relatively. It's all about the Angel of Death this time. And, not the other way around. I guess we'll come and see in our room who these individuals are. If you guys remember last time, we have 4 suspects. And only 3 of them were actual suspects, and the last one ended up being nothing. You take a second to enjoy the silence of your studio apartment. Outside, the city is slowly waking up. You can still hear the hum of the taxi buzzing in your ears. Wow, that's a lot of people. Hervé is still among them, I see, though, the first one. You throw the files Buster gave you on the table. On the wall, you hung up the big corkboard where you used to pin up photos of your nephews. They've been gone since you got out of... well, plain and simple. Jot down all the pieces of evidence and connect them to the suspects. The guilty party won't necessarily be the one with the most evidence against them, but the one with the most compelling evidence against them. It's like you're building a story about each suspect. Trying to understand their motives, understand how he or she got into said situation. Your neighbor flushes the toilet out of the corner of your eye. You can see the pipe shake. You crack your knuckles and get to work. Alright, let's get to work then. Yeah, let's do this now. And then we'll start connecting clues to clues. Okay, that's everything. Let's move everything down. Alright, so Hervé allegedly robbed a fishmonger. Okay, so our suspects are Hervé Grailleux, Gilda Berger, Perry Menderes, Apolloni Garadou, and Jonas Pearson. So the only one we actually know of from the judge's scenario is Hervé. He's the only person we know. We know he's a guy that is, he's done some sussy stuff in the background, but he's also a homeless guy, and he has like a nervous tick. Okay, so let's see here. These don't help us right now. We'll get to this one in a sec. That looks like this for everybody. This is for 2 people. This is only for Hervé. Kitchen window left open by the victim. And only Hervé has accomplished that. Victim 2 had garlic in her hand. Apparently she had garlic in her hand. Mouth, slit throat, words written in blood, blood missing. We don't know. Again, that's for 2 people. The murder weapon was a fillet knife, so she must be a restaurant owner of some sort. Oh, she's a chef, okay. But the murder weapon was a fillet knife, which is good reason to believe it could be her. It could be any one of them, but we don't know. There was murder rituals involved. What does she do for her job? She's a night owl. I don't know. Hervé. It's not looking good for you already, friend. Hervé is suspected in many break-ins, clearly. Everybody is this height. Hervé and Pri left the spare key under the mats. So far, it's looking like it's going towards Hervé. It's possible the murder weapon could be the fillet knife. Okay, here's what I'm thinking so far, based off of what we got to go with. This could have been from the restaurant, right? Makes sense. However, there's murder rituals, which is weird. Don't understand that. Or supposedly rituals. Murder weapons, a fillet knife. It's all relative through this place that she works at. The key was left under the mat, the doormat, by her, and apparently by Hervé as well, for breaking and entering. He robbed a fishmonger. Kitchen window was left open by the victim. Hervé is suspected in many break-ins. So Hervé supposedly could have, I guess, went inside this restaurant, could have grabbed garlic for some reason, I guess, grabbed the murder weapon, still left the key under the doormat because he'd been breaking in and out. He also left the kitchen window open, so it could have been him because he's a weirdo like that. So far, actually, is not looking good for Hervé. At all. So far, we have nothing on Gilda, nothing on Jonas. Don't know about her, and I think she is innocent. Let's end the night. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You open the sofa bed and lie down. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. Your brain is running at full speed. Your body aches and you are in pain. You can tell you need to get more sleep. You glance at your investigation board. It looks awfully empty. Tomorrow you will have a chance to fill it up more. You shake your head, and your mind wanders for a second. And suddenly, you're asleep. You open one eye. You find your studio calming. There's something special about living in a garret. Or garret? Like yours is the last place before the sky starts. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. As night 2 begins. Alright, so let's see. And with that, we also have places we can also explore that are totally brand new. I've also seen some new faces we have not met before. And some recognizable faces as well, such as this guy, Milo Reacher. There's no reason for us to talk to some of these people, I feel like, especially if we happen to, like, see every one of these little dotted points. If we see, like, Sean Christie, for example, there's no reason to talk to him. But, and I think when we come back, because we're going to end our episode here, all these will change as well. So we don't know who we're going to see. Maybe we'll see one of our suspects, maybe we won't. But these will all be unique, I imagine, as well, since they are also in different locations, which is interesting. That is super interesting. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed today's episode of Night Call, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think of today's episode so far. If you're new to my channel, where you've been watching me for a little while and you haven't done so, feel free to subscribe to me, MadSquash924, and don't forget to ring the bell to get notified of my latest videos. So yeah, as a side note though, it makes sense that it has like the same kind of start, because it's all an investigation. You're doing investigations. You're trying to find a murderer, essentially. So yeah, it makes sense that for the first episodes, for the scenarios, that they're all going to be very similar. But once we are out of the first episode, it should be all new content from here, unless we go meet up with someone that is recognizable, like Hervé. In fact, I don't remember Hervé's story being what it was when we talked to him, ironically enough. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'll talk to you then. Goodbye.